What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. This video is going to be my review of the new Nars Afterglow Liquid blushes. I have 3 of the 6 shades. We're going to be doing some swatches. I have some daylight application, and I'm also going to be comparing these up against a fan favorite, the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, and a couple of other ones in my collection. So if you want to see if these are any good and how they compare, then keep watching. All right, party people, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Sophia, and I upload videos every single week about luxury, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle. I do a lot of luxury and high-end beauty reviews, so if that is your jam, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button to join our fam. I'll link everything in this video, anything that is on my face today, in that description box down below in case you guys would like to shop. And without further ado, let's chat about the new Nars Afterglow Liquid blushes. These retail for $32, so it's basically the same price as a Nars single blush. They come in 6 shades. I have 3 of the shades, so we're gonna get to that in just a second. And on the Sephora website, these are described as a lightweight skincare infused liquid blush that delivers a buildable rush of color with 8-hour hydration. They are buildable, transfer resistant formula that layers and blends without streaking. If you take a look at the ingredients, these are infused with sodium hyaluronate, which is basically just hyaluronic acid. It's a very common ingredient now in a lot of beauty and skincare products. These have a 6-month shelf life, so not super long. They are a cream product, so kind of keep that in mind. They are made in Canada. A lot of you have been asking me, how are these different from the old liquid blushes that Nars originally launched, which I think maybe now, I'm not sure, friends. I think maybe they're going to be discontinued. It seems like the difference between them is that these are a lot dewier. They're more hydrating. They're a little bit sheer. You all will see in the demo what I'm talking about here. Whereas the older ones, the marketing copy says that you really only need 1 little dot, and they're very pigmented, and they give a little bit more of kind of a matte finish, whereas these are going to be much more glowy and hydrating due to that hyaluronic acid. So let me show you guys the colors that I got in the order here that they are on my hand. First off, we have Wanderlust. That is a soft lilac. Then we have Insatiable, that is described as a deep plum. And then finally we have Brazen, and that is described as a coral peach. Now that we have those basic details out of the way, let's head into the demo. I'm gonna be doing some daylight applications for you all for each of the 3 shades that I picked up, so you can get a sense for the color and the finish, and also if these are buildable and if they are not streaky. So let's head on over into that. Let's get these blushes on my face so you all can see what they look like on my skin tone and how I like to apply them. I'm gonna start off with the shade Wanderlust. This is the one that is that soft lilac shade. This one is definitely the sheerest. I'm not sure if I would recommend this for those of you out there who have a deeper skin tone because it is so sheer. I like to apply it pretty liberally, and then I like to go in with a brush. You can go in with your fingers, but these are pretty sheer. I think I'd be a little bit concerned that because they are so dewy upon first application, that it might disturb any kind of foundation or base that you have underneath. So I like to go in with this kind of a brush, I'll link it down below, to really pat it into the skin. And see there, it is extremely subtle, and I'm pretty fair. I'm usually one of the lightest shades on the foundation scale, and this is pretty sheer. But as you can see, you can build it up a little bit. So you can kind of work in layers to get the desired effect. So there you have it, friends. This is Wanderlust. I'll get real close so you can see the finish as well in the natural light. Next up, we have Insatiable. This is that deeper plum shade. This is the deepest of all of the shades as well. So I will point that out. And you can tell that you instantly get a lot more color payoff from this one. This one reminds me a little bit more of how I flush naturally. It looks a little bit more like my blushed cheeks as opposed to the last one, which definitely was a little bit more of like an unnatural color, but equally as pretty. And the best way for me to describe the effect that these give is definitely watercolor, because they kind of give you that sheer flush with a lot of hydration as well. And you definitely can sort of see your skin a little bit underneath. It's really not gonna cover anything up. They have a very sheer kind of translucent look that they give the skin. And there you have it, friends. That is Insatiable. I actually want to see if I can build this color up just a little bit, because I'm going to take it off in a second to go in with the last shade. So if I put a little bit more, let's see how much we can build this up, because it does say in the product description that these are pretty buildable, and just testing these out on my hand, I have found that to be the case. They blend very easily. So that might be a little bit too much blush for me, but you all can see you definitely can build it up. So this is what it looks like with 2 coats of Insatiable on my skin tone. And finally, we have Brazen. This is the Coral Peach. This is a great summer shade. Apply that to the cheeks. I think that this one might be my favorite, maybe because I'm just in the mood for these types of colors, but I like the fact that it's kind of a medium intensity compared to the other two. Wanderlust was definitely on the light side, and Insatiable is a little bit more pigmented. This one is right in the middle, and I've really been liking these corally summer shades. Let's go in with one more coat. There. Yeah, I think I like it with 2 coats, and I'm gonna blend it up here to kind of get a little bit of like a monochromatic look across the face. And there you have it, friends. This is Brazen. All right, friends, I hope that demo was helpful. Now I want to give you guys my thoughts on this formula. Is it any good, and how does it compare to the Rare Beauty and other liquid blushes that are out there at Sephora and in the beauty community? So the first thing that I noticed about these is that they do have a sheerness to them. You can be pretty liberal with them when you're applying them, especially with the lighter shades. Wanderlust, for example, I can just scribble that on even my super pale skin, blend it in, and it's not that much pigment. You kind of have some control there to build them up. They have a little bit of sheerness and translucency to them when they go on the skin. That's why I describe them as watercolor, because it really kind of just looks like you're painting a sheer veil of hydrated color over your skin. So if you are used to going in with very pigmented liquid blush, that's not what these are. You really don't have to be too afraid about applying too much. And once you get them on the skin, they do look very dewy. Like, they have a very juicy look to them, even just right here on the doe foot applicator. But after a couple of minutes, they do dry down, as you can see on my cheeks, and I'll show you guys a close-up clip of Insatiable after it kind of dried down on my wrist. They don't stay sticky and tacky and dewy, but they do have like a really nice hydrated feel to the skin. Not like skincare necessarily, but in a way where I feel like it's gonna cling to the face. As you guys saw in the demo, they are buildable. They definitely are. I think the one thing you want to kind of keep in mind is that because these are very dewy going onto the skin and you are going to be applying more, I do think that these are a little bit better for maybe lighter makeup days, because you can sort of see through the blush. It does move your foundation just a little bit because it has so much emolliency going onto the skin. It kind of has a gel formula, if that makes sense. So if you are someone where you're going in with a really full coverage foundation, you might just want to be a little bit careful with these. I feel like these are better for like those lighter summertime looks, maybe a no makeup type of look. So keep that in mind. The other thing about this is that they are not transfer proof, but like it says in the description, they are transfer resistant. I swatched this on my wrist last night. I was doing a bunch of swatches and comparisons with these, seeing kind of like how they felt on the skin, how they dried down, and I thought I washed them off my wrist. I actually took a shower, and then I woke up this morning to film this video, and I realized, I'll show you guys a clip right here, that color is still on there. They really do cling to the skin quite well, even though they are that kind of sheer formula. So I think that's really nice. If you go in directly with like a makeup wipe or an oil-based makeup remover, they do come off. They don't stain the skin, but in my case, I guess I just wasn't directly rubbing and trying to remove them off, and so it still remained there on my wrist. So how do these compare to the Rare Beauty, and which ones do I like more? I think the biggest difference here is that the Rare Beauty blushes, they are more pigmented. I'll show you guys a swatch comparison right here where we have the Nars on the left and the Rare Beauty on the right. I know the colors aren't exact, but you can kind of take a look at the formula here. The Nars, see how it goes on just a lot sheer. You can kind of go ham with the Nars. You can be very liberal in your application, whereas what I've heard from a lot of people and in my experience as well, with the Rare Beauty, you need to be a little bit more careful. You really only need one little dot on the cheek, which for some people, you know, they're afraid of applying too much blush, but for other people, they like the fact that this tube of blush is going to last a lot longer. From a finish perspective, once you get them on the skin and they dry down, the Rare Beauty and the Nars are very, very similar. The Rare Beauty is a little bit more pigmented, and if you have a deeper skin tone, the Rare Beauty might be a better option for you because you can kind of build up the color a little bit more. I am kind of concerned with the Nars, how a lot of these shades are going to look on deeper skin tones. So comment down below if you are deeper than me and you've tried any of these. Do they show up on your skin? Let's help each other out. I would love to know. But that's kind of my first impression there when comparing both of these. They have that same nice dewy finish, but overall, the Rare Beauty is just more pigmented. If I had to recommend one or the other, I do think I would recommend the Rare Beauty. They are cheaper. These are $23 and the ones from Nars are $32. So it's a pretty decent price jump there. And in addition, you can get the Rare Beauty ones in 2 different finishes and there's a lot more colors to choose from. And as I mentioned a second ago, because they are more pigmented, it can kind of suit a wider range of skin tones. So if I had to recommend just one, I would recommend the Rare Beauty. But you know what? I kind of like the look of the Nars more for summertime. Like I said, if I'm going for a fresher, less makeup type of look, I can really see this being something extremely quick that I can whack on, and it gives me this really pretty fresh look to the cheeks. Before we go, 2 other alternatives that I really want to recommend are number 1, the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty Blush Wands and also the Glossier Cloud Paints. I think that these are both excellent alternatives. The Charlotte Tilbury, I know they're called Matte Beauty Blush Wands, but they aren't matte, guys. They're actually pretty dewy and give a very similar hydrated effect to the skin. The reason I like these is because they are kind of like a medium in pigmentation between the Rare Beauty and the Nars, but they last super long. There's something about these that really, really lasts on my skin longer than the Rare Beauty do. They are more expensive and there's not as many shades, but from a formula perspective, I really like these ones the best. I do have a full review of all of the shades of this one, by the way. I'll link it down below, in addition to a review of the Rare Beauty blushes. So I'll put any related reviews in the description box if you guys want to see, you know, more demos and swatches of these other formulas. And then the Glossier, I think that these are the most mistake-proof ones. They're not as dewy as the Rare Beauty and the Nars, but they have a really nice blendability. They're called the cloud paint, so they kind of blend across the cheeks as a cloud, and they are a lot cheaper than the Charlotte Tilbury. They come in a lot of shades, so I would take a look, friends, at what type of finish are you looking for. The Nars being sort of the sheerest, it's that watercolor, it's that dewy kind of effect. Then you have the Charlotte Tilbury, which is kind of medium, but also has a really nice dewy look and some longevity. Then you have the Glossier, which is a really nice price point, not quite as dewy, but super mistake proof. And then finally, you have the Rare Beauty, which are very pigmented, accessible price point, and just so many colors to choose from. So they're all really great blushes. Those are my thoughts about the differences between the two. Comment down below if you guys have any other questions or would like any recommendations. All right, friends, that's all I got for you today. Now it is your turn. Sound off in those comments down below and let me know what you think of these new blushes from Nars. Did you pick any of them up? And if so, which of the colors are you intrigued by? I would love to know. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.